going on YouTube? In this video, I'm going to explain to you how to make $1.4 million in the next 365 days. Alright guys, just to get the obvious out of the room, this video is not about how to make $1.4 million in the next 365 days. That was to demonstrate a point of what you can actually accomplish if you were to make a $4,000 placement every single day for the next year. Which, by the way, is 100% true, and it's actually $1,460,000. Now I must add that this video was inspired by a good recruiter friend of mine by the name of Chuck, and he basically laid this out as a joke on a comment, but I took it for serious and I wanted to explain exactly how recruiting fees work via this video. So check it out. If you are brand new to recruiting or if you are a tenured recruiter, I want to talk about recruiting fees. I think it's super important and I think it's clarifying for everyone, for all of us to just put it out in the open and discuss why we charge what we charge, why we should charge what we charge, and why we shouldn't charge what we shouldn't charge. So let's just get one thing out of the way. Your fee is directly dependent on how much energy and effort you have to put into the job to actually find a candidate and make the placement successfully. That means that if you're placing a forklift driver on Craigslist off of an ad, that you're only going to be able to charge about a 10% fee on a $30,000 salary, and you're going to make about $3,000. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that all day long, and you can actually make a six-figure income out of that. You just have to make that your main game and get a high volume of those. Now, quite to the contrary, if you are working in the IT space and you are searching for a machine learning engineer, that is going to be a much heftier search, meaning you're going to spend a little bit more time on it and you're probably going to have to connect with a lot more candidates and applicants in order to actually get them through the pipeline and get them interviewed, have them looped, and do a lot more stuff to actually get someone hired. And then you'll have to probably wait a net 90 or something like that to actually get paid. But when you do get paid, you're probably going to get paid about 25%, maybe even 30% if it's a really good role, and that's going to look like a $60,000 check. So it's somewhat a game of pick your poison. Do you have high volume and low fee, or do you have low fee and high volume? Right? It's whatever fancies you at the time or whatever you're really, really good at. I personally started my recruiting agency placing in general labor, of course, forklift, warehouse, transportation, production, things like that. And I would get $3,000 fills, $4,000 fills, $5,000 fills, but I would have high volume. So in that scenario, it was very easy for me to quickly make my first $100,000 in my first 6 months in business. Now, it is true that I highly recommend a lot of recruiters go this route and do general labor or lower skilled positions that they can get quick wins on and make money right away, so that number one, they can actually make money, and number two, they can learn the process quickly. The other side of the argument says that you should not do any of that and that you should niche down right away and you should kind of put your head into a book and you should only work on a certain industry or sector and learn that as best as possible and start making placements in that. That just simply takes some time. I mean, ideally, at the end of the day, you might make your first placement in 3-4 months, but it's going to be a big payout when you finally do get that payout. Granted that I did not start my agency that way, and granted that that's kind of a long time to get paid, I'm not the best fan of that strategy, but I'm totally okay with those that do it. I definitely do agree that all recruiters at some point need to niche down into something specific that they know very, very well, that they can be known in and have a ton of repeat business in and just continuously make money in that specific industry. That is very important. As far as fees go for every certain niche that you deal with, I think that it's only fair and equitable that you charge what's necessary and what's fair for both you and your client, right? So you don't want to price gouge, that's just a little bit harsh, and you don't want to cut yourself short because that's just self-sabotaging. So you want to meet somewhere in the middle. Now, I've heard a lot of people tell me that I can charge 20% for filling a forklift position that pays $18 an hour, approximately something like $37,000 per year, and I just really don't think that's possible. I mean, in all reality, I've worked with these particular clients that do give me these forklift job orders, and consistently they will not pay a $12,000 or $13,000 fee for someone that they can pretty much find on the street practically anyways. They're using my help, and when they use my help, they expect just a fast person on the scene to be able to do the job, and that to them is worth about $3,000 or $4,000. The trick in low fee, high volume is to have a lot of high volume. And the trick in low volume but high fee is to have a really high fee. Now, I can tell you for certain, if you were to do a mathematical equation on low volume, high fee, or high volume, low fee, etc., you could mathematically come out to the exact same number at the end of the day as far as income goes if you were to do it properly. The reason for that is because it takes extra time on the low volume, high fee positions, but the high volume, low fee positions are quick, and you can get those much, much faster. So while you're piling all those up, somebody is making $60,000 while you're making $60,000 over 3 months. Like I said earlier, it's really just a matter of how much effort and energy and time that it takes you to find that particular candidate that's going to fill your role and that's going to win you that fee. You absolutely have to pick a niche that's going to make you happy, that's going to work for you. And so at the end of the day, you need to get paid by doing something that you like. I mean, if looking for finance candidates that pay out $50,000 a fee is just miserable for you, then don't do that. At the same token, if looking for forklift drivers or CDL drivers or something in the mid-range is not your cup of tea, don't do that either. The beauty of recruiting is that we get to choose what we like. We get to choose what we enjoy. We get to choose what we get better at and what we can fine-tune ourselves at. We can learn new things. We can pick almost any niche that we want to work in. Don't get me wrong whatsoever. I am a red-blooded American capitalist that looks for the highest fee that I can get out of any client ever. If I could get away with charging my clients 20% for forklift drivers, I would absolutely do it. It just so happens that they won't do it, so I can't do it. As a quick little recap, I just want to let you know that basically your recruiting fee is based on how much energy and effort you put in to finding the candidate. Also, your recruiting fee has to be equitable and reasonable to the niche that you're actually finding, and you must be happy with that niche that you're working in. Otherwise, you're not going to have any enjoyment in finding the candidate in the first place, and you'll do very poorly at it. And again, the beauty of recruiting is we can learn any certain niche that we want to learn if we try hard enough. So the beauty of it is you can choose between finance, IT, or filling forklift driver roles, right? It really doesn't matter. It's all about what you want to do. I truly consider recruiting to be a lifestyle business in the sense that you can choose exactly what you want to work on and exactly how quickly you want to get paid based on what niches you're working on and what fees you're getting from those niches. I really hope that that gives everyone a better understanding of recruiting fees and how they work from the perspective of the recruiter themselves, and hopefully you took something good away from this video. If that was the case, please smash that like button, as well as hit the subscribe button and the alert button so that you know every single time I come out with a new video. Until then.